All right, this is the Honest Outlaw here.
Beard envy right now. I'm so beard envy right now.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. We're gonna leave that in. So we're at 2020 SHOT Show with Tony here. I know him pretty well. He works for STI and he makes some of the best guns in the world. You guys know I'm a huge 2011, 1911 fan, and STI probably does what? The best in the business, especially
world's best shooting handguns.
Absolutely. So I got an opportunity.
Gauntlet dropped.
Yeah, right. I got an opportunity to shoot these during Industry Day, and I couldn't have been more impressed. I was absolutely amazed, especially with this one. This is the XL. It is the long slide 2011 version that takes the full-size double-stack magazines. It has a double-sided safety. It has all the cool fixings along with the glide cuts here that are usable, which I absolutely love as well. Because a lot of times when you do tabletop pickups, I pick up and go like this instead of going over the top. It's just so much faster. And these are super functional. I love that. Comes with the full dust cover there with a tactical rail if you want to run your lights and stuff. This would be a good competition gun. Also a really good home defense gun for me personally. I would absolutely love this for a just tabletop gun overall. Comes with a mag well, and it comes with new STI grip as well. You went away from the tree bark and you went with this.
Well, let me tell you a little bit. Dude, you covered everything. I don't know why I'm standing here, man.
Oh, sorry.
That's why this dude's so good at it, man.
No.
The backstory is
I learned from him.
As I made his spot because I follow his channel, and if you're not following his channel, go follow him. Follow his channel. Love what he's doing from reviews. There's a lot of people out there that do reviews that don't know what the hell they're talking about and they can't shoot. That dude does.
Well, thank you.
I snatched him up. I said, first thing, what was the first gun I told you to go shoot? This gun right here. So this is our G2 grip. So what we did is over the years, people would buy, I'll go back 25 years ago. So it's hard to improve on 25 years of heritage, legacy, technology. So what we did is we went back into it. Our grip originally was square. And it was square because it was built around a square magazine. So in order for that ergonomic fit, people would do is they would grind down this corner, they would undercut the trigger guard. Dude, I would buy like 3 grips at a time at $140 a piece. And I was like, oh, I got a Dremel, watch this. Oh, snap. We took all that out. We rounded the grip more. We created the undercut here on the trigger guard. Something else we did is we put in what we call a trigger groove channel. Right there on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side of the gun. Now what this does is it allows you to get better and more predictable finger placement on the trigger pad itself. Different size hands, you know, you can't make the grip so small that it doesn't maintain the magazine doesn't fall free. But what we can do is we can make the grip more ergonomic in its design. Now don't worry, we kept very, very close to our original formula. We don't want to lose the recoil mitigation properties of the polymer grip. That's the whole thing about our gun. We kept that, we tweaked it a little bit to what we believe has made it a little bit more recoil absorbing. Mixed up, you know, the fiberglass and the polymer and the other components that go into the grip itself. And we also integrated some texturing in the mold. Now, initially, and you know, if you know any competition shooters want razor blades. It's very Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. They want, you know, broken glass. Oh yeah. If I'm not dry firing 3 times and my hands aren't bleeding, my grip's not good enough. We think that we put texture in the areas that you need texture. Here, if you look, as my hand comes around, I've got a pretty big hand, I've got texture coming around here and here, so that even a smaller hand's gonna be able to put into the pressure portion of my hand. I'm gonna be able to have texture on my hand and create a better contact with the gun. Here, but you don't need all these other places to cause blood. You don't have to bleed to grip the gun. Oh yeah. You know, I was initially concerned about that as well. Guys on my channel know that I love texture. I love sandpaper grips. The rougher the better. Yep. And I saw this and I was like, this is gonna be really good for carry, absolutely for your carry guns. But I was a little skeptical on how it would do with a full-size competition gun like this. No problem at all. It's glued in my hand. And on top of that, the ergonomics on this are absolutely perfect. And some of the guys skimp on stuff like this, like molding the grip to your hand, and then when you squeeze really hard, as you know, it digs in your hand after a while. No problem with that at all on these models. That's very impressive. And I'm in love with the undercut on the trigger guard a little bit. It sucks your hand in. And it's still got a little texture to it. It definitely does. It's not completely smooth. Yeah. Yep. Easy to shoot one-handed, and definitely easy to shoot two-handed. Adjustable sight on that as well. The front fiber optic with a blacked out rear. That's my all-time favorite sighting setup. Comes perfect with this gun. Now, one of the things you initially talked about when you first started talking about the gun was our lightning cuts, our cocking serrations. So we went back to something which I think is, I guess like you call it tactical chic, but it's very utilitarian. It's not overly done. It's not a bunch of lightning cuts and all this other. We did it smart. And remember, there's a lot of thought that goes into creating that balance the reciprocating mass has to be balanced with the rest of the weight of the gun to create that balance as it flows back and forth. As the weight begins to transfer, as the energy comes into the modular frame and the polymer grip, and then that energy comes back into that reciprocating mass. You make everything kind of crazy, you also compromise the integrity of the slide. Could cause damage. We want longevity out of our guns. I want you to be shooting this gun on your channel with 7 million followers, and it has 100,000 rounds on it. Now, guy who shoots as much as you, I figured that'll be July.
Maybe, yeah.
So, in order to create a little bit faster cycling, is we created a little bit of, we took our original bullet groove cocking serrations, we opened them up a little bit, and we lightened it up slightly. Now, when we lightened it up, we didn't lighten it up by doing something crazy, by garbing a bunch of holes in there and losing that integrity.
Yep.
All of our guns are durable. One of the things at the back here we did, and you'll notice it on all of our products, as we go, you look at that grip safety, it's a flat across grip safety. The only one of our 2020 product line that we did not bob the grip safety is our Staccato R. We want to stay with that traditional 1911.
Well, that makes me sad because now I can't stab my hand when I mess my grip up on my.
It's a great point.
You know,
it's a great point because here's why. Now think about this. We're doing a lot in our personal defense line and in our professional line. What's one of the most used guns operationally and professionally? It's a Glock. What's the back of the Glock feel like? It's square. So with that repetition, that familiar feeling, as I reach back in there, is that squareness. That bobbed beaver tail can be obtrusive, can be in your way.
Sure.
So this way, you've got that familiar situation, you've got that familiar feeling.
I never even considered that.
Yeah, came back, we started looking at with our performance guns, and again, it's something else I don't have to run into.
Yeah.
Stay with the good, do what you do very, very well, and streamline the product to be able to perform at the level we need it to perform at.
What I loved about it was the recoil impulse, because like you said, it's hard to get perfect. You don't want it too light, because if you have it too light and too fast, you have reliability problems. And on top of that, if you have it too heavy, it slows down the cycling rate, and it kind of feels like you're chugging along as opposed to popping them off. And you know, you did a perfect blend with that, because a lot of times with a polymer grip too, if you have a longer slide, sometimes you get the rocking mechanism a little bit. None of that with this gun. So you have it absolutely perfectly balanced, in my opinion. And that helps having that big old full barrel as well.
Now, one of the things that you may not know, let me tell you how this whole thing happened.
Okay.
You cannot just slap. I'm going to give you what makes this gun so easy to shoot. Now, we do a lot of different things, and I've seen it on your channel. We've seen it with Maddie, some of our TAC team guys. We develop all these techniques to control energy, grip, presentation, physical fitness. I'll turtle in, I'll brace my leg, all these things we've developed all these techniques over the years to do what? To manage energy and make energy more predictable. What is energy? Energy is recoil. If you want to know what energy is, grab a 460, stiff arm, squeeze the trigger, and when it goes boom, that feeling that you have on that left big toe is recoil. That's energy. What we do with energy, and this is the thing, our flat tech engineering and design. So remember, the original internal combustion motor, little explosion happens right here. Energy begins to move. Energy moves into the reciprocating mass, that absorbs some energy. Energy is absorbed by the weight of the bull barrel. Energy is absorbed by the projectile, the gases that follow the projectile, the recoil system, the recoil spring, the weight of the frame. Here's the difference with us. Now the energy comes into our polymer grip. Percentage of that energy dissipates. A percentage of that energy is absorbed by the cells of the polymer. The remaining portion of that energy, if you watch our guns shoot real high-speed camera in slow motion, you'll actually see the gun flex. There's a flex to that gun.
Now flex is real. That's for sure.
And here's the cool thing about that is what we do is we time and we build and engineer the top end of this gun so when that gun flexes, this reciprocating mass is right back here. You'll note if you don't spend a lot of time, you remember this when you first shot the 2011, if you don't spend a lot of time shooting 2011, your first couple rounds you're going like this. Because you have spent years managing that energy. You don't have to with our gun. This is what makes it so easy. Neutral index, bub, 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 and you're like, dude, the gun shoots so flat. We take the energy, we reduce the energy, we harness the energy, and we channel it into the reciprocating mass. We make it linear. Point it, shoot it.
But speaking of the first-time Glock guys going to a 2011, you got to talk about the trigger as well, because you have one of the best triggers out of the box in this gun right away. No worry about trigger jobs or anything. Like, what is it, 2.5 pounds?
2.5 pounds on the competition gun. It's 4 pounds on our carry and our defense gun. But yeah, you do. But here's the thing about it. Our 4-pound trigger is not a 4-pound Glock trigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. What was the first one to get 3 places now wins? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Go. Ooh, that's
Who got me? Oh.
But they come in here and what do? They're saying increased capacity and durability. We come back in the game and we go, okay, check it out. We're going to give you that durability, that reliability, and we're going to give you the same capacity, and I'm going to give you the amazing trigger of a 1911.
Absolutely.
You know, there's some people that would, you know, joked around about our modular frame polymer grid single stack, and in this, because, you know, the evolution of 2011, they're like, John Browning would roll over in his grave. Yeah, he'd roll over to take a better look.
He certainly would. He'd ask you how you made it, and he would duplicate it.
Oh, and by the way, it's got 2 safeties.
There's a reason, really, why people run the 2011. Like, you can talk all you want about it, but all the best shooters in the world do 2011. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
There's a reason behind it. Because of the recoil and pulse, because of the accuracy. Not just the inherent accuracy, but the accuracy to get out of the gun. You know, trigger control is the #1 reason why people miss. No question.
True story.
And if you can make it a little bit easier, it's not going to shoot itself. You have to be good, but it's going to make it easier. And not only that, it's going to make it faster. So on top of that, if you're shooting like we talked about the other day, like HKP-30 is a great gun, but that trigger reset is nowhere near where you get at this. Just you can really round them off on this, and that's what you want in a self-defense situation, and that's what you want in a match. You can get those quick double taps as well.
Think about it. That if there are 2 situations that I want to be my best.
Oh, definitely.
It's not I could care less. If I'm not best in a match, that's great. It gives me some bragging rights. I get to talk some crap, and I get to bug my buddies, and, you know, I go up there and show a couple of hits, and one pace covers my target. But the gunfight or the tactical operation, these are the times when it's a match, you get 1 shot, the timer goes off that you didn't hear, and you're in the gunfight. And it's like we sat up here and had an interview with the U.S. Marshals SOG, and one of their senior guys on the team said flat out, he said, we could have bought any gun. Yeah. Any gun. And he said the reason, I don't know if you've heard this, but they have to change their claws.
Yeah, I did.
Because their guys are shooting, like they sat right here, and after we just launched the gun with them a month ago, they're like, yeah, we're changing our claws because our guys are maxing the claws. It's too easy for them to shoot it. Well, now these guys shoot a lot.
I hung around yesterday and talked to a bunch of law enforcement, and those guys are buying these. Their department.
Oh no, that's the myth. That's the myth flying around, is that government money is being spent. No, these guys are buying gun-fit guns because they may get in a gunfight. Gun-fight guns, probably not gun-fit guns. Yeah. But it fits well in a gunfight. It does. It fits well in a gunfight. We put the best gun in the good guy's hands.
Got a new slogan.
Gun-fit guns.
There you go.
Whoa, that could be like some keto diet thing.